Welcome back, fans, to another episode of the ECHL Insider. I am your host, as always, Garrett Hunter. Thank you for joining us for another off-season episode where today we will be discussing my top 5 things that I'm most looking forward to in the upcoming ECHL season. But before we get to that, some important news for you out of Portland, Maine, as the Mariners have hired Rick Kalowski as the next head coach in Mariners history. And I mean, what else could you ask for, right, in this hire? A ECHL Hall of Famer. He scored 550 points in the ECHL, and he has 20 years of head coaching experience in pro hockey. A guy who's been behind the bench of the New Jersey Devils as an assistant, several head coaching jobs in the American League, and now he gets a head coaching job in the ECHL. So a league that he's had nothing but success in. I think this is just a great hire for the Mariners, and you get a proven winner, right? A guy who knows how to have success in the ECHL. He did as a player. Now he looks to as a coach, and he has a huge resume of coaching experience around pro hockey in North America. So really, really good leader is Rick Kalowski. So excited to see him behind the bench of the Mariners in October. Well, let's jump right into it. These are the top 5 things that I'm looking forward to in the 2025-2026 ECHL season. So we'll start at number 5. I'm most excited at 5 to see the new head coaches in the ECHL. We just talked about one with Rick Kalowski, but specifically 2 that I wanted to point out. We've announced them, all through the offseason as they've come in. There's a lot of them, right? But these 2 stick out to me, and it's Matt McDonald in Orlando, and it's Steve Martinson in Allen. I think these are 2 really, really good hires. McDonald, an assistant in the American League for several years. He's won a Kelly Cup in the ECHL as a player, and now he takes over in Orlando where expectations are high, if not as high as they ever have been in Orlando. Back-to-back South Division final appearances, lost to the Everblades. Orlando is very hungry right now to get to the next level, and I don't think that this is a fan base that's going to cut the coaching a little bit of slack if they take a step back this year. Karkner took them to high levels the last 2 seasons, knocking off the number 1 seed in the South Division the last 2 years. Matt McDonald is going to be expected to just pick up right where Matt Karkner left off. Whether that's fair or not, that's really the expectations in Orlando, I think you could say. So big ask for Matt McDonald in his first year, but I think he'll be able to really seize these expectations and deliver a good product in Orlando. And then with Steve Martinson, he's already led Allen to a championship in 2015. So he knows what it takes in this city. He's done it in the inaugural season of the ECHL version of Allen American Hockey. So I think bringing him back is just, awesome. The nostalgia for those older Allen fans definitely is there right now. I think coming off of last season, the worst in the ECHL, there's expectations this year, which normally you wouldn't see considering how bad last year went for Allen. But there's expectations now with this head coach. I think their expectation would be at least make the playoffs. If not get to the second round. I think Allen's capable of that. We've already seen the moves that he's made. He's bringing back Americans like Matt Register, who have had a lot of success there. So just a lot of big names he's signed so far, and I think that's only going to continue. I think I'm really liking the roster that I'm seeing Steve Martinson assemble right now in Allen. And then at number 4, teams that are looking to take the next step. I think there's 4 specific teams I'm going to highlight that are really hungry to take the next step in their quest for a Kelly Cup, and those would be the Idaho Steelheads, the Fort Wayne Comets, the Norfolk Admirals, and the Jacksonville Icemen. So quickly going over these, Idaho, obviously expectations are high in Idaho. They always are with that fan base and with that culture that Everett Sheen has built. But missing the playoffs last year, we've talked about it a little bit this offseason. You missed the playoffs. What happens this year? I think there's a lot of pressure on Everett Sheen now. You got to deliver a better product this year than what we saw last year. 8-team division, obviously harder. We saw that down the stretch. of course. But yeah, Idaho, really, their expectations, we can make it to the Western Conference Final. We've done it here 2 years ago. We can do it again. I think that's really the expectation in Idaho. They want to be able to make a deep playoff run. And then in Fort Wayne, I mean, they had Toledo on the ropes in overtime, almost going down. And if they would have won that game in overtime, they would have been up 3-1. So, I mean, they almost eliminated Toledo in the minds of the Comets. They were right there. That was really, other than the finals, obviously, the hardest series that Toledo played. So I think Fort Wayne is ready to compete with the Walleye this year. I mean, that is at least the expectation, if not what's going to happen. They're ready to give Toledo a run for their money for the top of the Central Division in the playoffs and in the regular season. So, and that should be the expectation in Fort Wayne now. You've been the little brother to Toledo for a while. They're looking now to be able to surge over Toledo this year. That specifically is a goal, really, when you talk about this franchise. Such a big rivalry in the Central Division. And then in Norfolk, you've had 2 years where the fans are like, okay, we're good now, right? We've made the playoffs. This year we got to the second round. Now they're looking to, can we make the third round? I think that's a realistic goal, though. You look at this Admirals team, they've already signed a lot of returning players. I think Derek Carr doing nothing but the same in Norfolk. You're leaning on veterans. You're bringing in new guys and bringing in just tons of offensive weapons so far in Norfolk. And then in Jacksonville, just they're keeping their fingers crossed they don't play Florida, right? 4 straight seasons they've been eliminated to the Everblades. They are looking for a deep playoff run. This is a team that has had consistent success in the regular season. It's been year in and year out now for the last 4 or 5 years. So now they're looking to build on that. Can we make a deep playoff run? Can we win the South? Can we go to the Eastern Conference Final for the first time ever? So that's really the expectation in Jacksonville. We know they have the fan base. They're pulling in 11, 12,000 sometimes in weekend games in Jacksonville. One of the biggest fan bases in the entire ECHL. They want to make a deep playoff run. They don't want to get eliminated to Florida again. That's kind of over and done with in their minds. They're ready to get past the Everblades if they do indeed meet them in the playoffs this season. But really, a constant, I would say, for all 4 of these teams, Idaho, Norfolk, Fort Wayne, and Jacksonville, their goal roughly is to make the conference final. I think that's a realistic goal for all 4 of these franchises heading into this season. Now at number 3, we got to talk about it, the Trois-Rivières title defense. We saw the roster assembled by the staff in Trois-Rivières, and 24 Canadian player staff. It was a roster. It was just impressive to do in this league. You talk about like the aspect of there were 28 ECHL American teams, 1 Canadian team, and they went with an all Canadian roster and won the Kelly Cup. Obviously there's more ways to skin the cow, in assembling a roster, but Ron Scholes said, no, I'm going all Canadians, right? And it worked. It worked. We saw it from Luke Kavlin all the way down the roster. It was impressive to see all season long, and in the playoffs was really their big surge. So now Ron Scholes is tasked again with assembling another roster to go win a Kelly Cup. So what is it going to take? Is it going to take some American players this year? Is it going to take all Canadians again? We'll see what Ron Scholes draws up in Trois-Rivières to go ahead and defend a Kelly Cup title. And the fan base, obviously this fan base started out small. It's a small building in Trois-Rivières. Now you get a Kelly Cup. I expect that building to be rocking in Coliseum Videotron starting in October when they raise the banner. And at number 2, the Florida Everblades. Huge question mark right now after winning 3 consecutive Kelly Cups and that run coming to an end last season, losing in the Eastern Conference Finals to Trois-Rivières. Big question now, culture and expectations. What is that like in Florida? Well, obviously, the expectations to go win another Kelly Cup, right? Their fan base is ready to go get back to playing in June. But, culture-wise, you're going to lose players in this league. Obviously, Brad Ralph, though, is used to assembling different rosters every year, and they lose their head coach, right, who went to go take the job in Reading. So Brad Ralph has to replace his staff and his roster this year. And questions are still on the roster for Florida, right? We think that they have it easy with all the success they've had, but Brad Ralph has to work really hard to replace pieces on this roster. Already, we know Colton Hargrove won't be there at forward. We know Cole Moberg won't be there on defense. And then Cam Johnson. He is right now, as we speak, an unrestricted free agent in the American League. So likely that he doesn't get a job with Springfield, that trickles down. He can't go to play for the Everblades then, unless his ECHL playing rights are traded. So right now, we don't know where Cam Johnson will be. That's a huge question for the Everblades and really for everyone. I think if he does play in the ECHL, it's going to be huge for whichever pipeline is able to pick him up. So just several questions, though, still as Brad Ralph assembles a roster in Florida. But the expectations are to go win a Kelly Cup, and I think Brad Ralph definitely is up for the challenge, and how hard it is. But I think he's shown time in and time out that he's able to adapt to change, and he'll be able to put a good product on the ice again in South Florida. And number one, most exciting thing coming into this season, the Greensboro Gargoyles, right? The 30th ECHL franchise is here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Cannot wait to see these guys take the ice. They will open with the Jacksonville Icemen at home back-to-back days. Just so excited to see, right? Scott Burt, former Rapid City coach, is tasked with beginning this franchise, and what a job it is. But I think Scott Burt is very experienced in this league. We're glad to see that he's recovered from his medical issue last season that took him out of the head coaching job in Rapid City for part of the season. But now he's back. He's able to coach. So we're really happy to see that for Scott, and really excited to see this Greensboro team, right? See what roster they assemble, and they've already started to sign some players and some pieces that have that they're trying to fit together, right? It's a hard puzzle when you don't have returning players. Obviously, you start from scratch, literally, and we'll see. Is there AHL affiliate in Carolina? Are they going to get a lot of help there? Are they going to get a lot of veteran players? It's a big task all around, from top to bottom, to start a franchise. The first inaugural season, we've seen that. Last year we saw it in Bloomington and Tahoe, and people saw the different outcomes, right, in those two franchises year one. Bloomington good, but didn't make the playoffs, and then Tahoe got a sweep in the first round, made it to the second round. So I think it's very interesting to see this Greensboro team take the ice in the North Division. Should be awesome to see. Well, now make sure to subscribe to our channel below, and you will not want to miss 2 weeks from now. We will start our annual division previews leading up to the ECHL season.